The face mask. Now, I put this up in the How to Cut It hairdressing community the other day. It created a huge amount of topics, and I do feel we are going back to this conversation regularly. But then, isn't it because things are just changing all the time? And when we talk about the face mask and the visor, we're talking about England just here. I think, again, parts of the UK is very different. But what's your take on all of this, Jordana?
Well, I would say that, first of all, I've got a lot to say on the government thing as well, Dom, so we'll come back to that. But I had no idea, because obviously I was in Cyprus and maybe not checking the news as much as I should have. And I had no idea that we had to wear both. However, when we first came out of lockdown, I tried to, and it was a bit too restrictive. And then all of a sudden it became the law. And not a lot of people actually knew it. And I saw a post on Instagram, Creative Head, and there were loads of comments underneath saying, oh gosh, thank you so much for sharing. I didn't know this was going to happen. But the rules are different for England, Ireland, Wales and Scotland. So that's one thing to also bear in mind. But I just think, is it too little too late? You know, now the numbers are declining. Why are we upping the PPE measures? And also, why are we doing it for hairdressers, but we're not doing it in every shop? Because I was out today and I could have counted 30, 40 people on the tube, in the supermarkets. I even went to Primark before I left to go to Cyprus, and it was literally just like a free-for-all. So it makes it harder to abide by the rules. Do you think?
Yeah,
do you agree,
it's
George?
very inconsistent, is what you're saying, isn't it, Jordan? I was down in London myself the other day, and I was absolutely flabbergasted by the lack of people that were actually wearing masks. But George, you were quite vocal about this, wasn't you? You were just sort of saying, look, get on with it. Stop moaning.
Yeah, like, you know what? It is a little bit inconsistent and it is a little bit confusing. You know, we've been open since the beginning of last month. We were requested to wear a mask. Now it's a mask and a visor. Clients didn't have to wear a mask. Now they've got to wear a mask. So for me, I think the rules have to be a lot clearer from the guys above. Because actually what's happening is they're bringing in new rules, and it's like anything. You're at school or you're a parent and you bring new rules in, and then all of a sudden that parent's deemed as unfair. The rules need to be set from the beginning,
Yes.
and people need to follow them, because otherwise it's going to cause unjust and it's going to cause negativity. So I feel like there needs to be more of a rule put in place, and I think that is the problem, to be honest.
And Elizabeth has just come in here with this comment. She says, I have worn both a mask and visor since we were allowed to open. And I kind of get that. I personally haven't. I must admit, I just had a visor on, and I've got to be honest, I did feel a bit begrudging about it, just because comfort, isn't it? Another thing, I just feel like I am literally living in a toy box on a shelf in a supermarket. Just that screen, and now a face covering. But we have to get on with it. But what worries me, Jordana, is actually, what is the message that we're sending out to young people wanting to come into our industry? I'm quite fearful of that element, because young people are going to look and think, well, actually, I don't really want to work in that kind of environment.
Well, I think that's a really great point, Dom. And I think going back to George's point, yes, we do have to just get on with it. And I think you're totally right about that. But there is a little devil that sits on my shoulder and says, how do they expect us to work in like 40-degree heat with all of this equipment when you can go to the gym without a face mask or go to the bars? And I think Matthew Sutcliffe, who did a podcast with you, Dom, he posted something on Instagram, and it was basically a collage of two pictures. The first picture was like people at the bars going absolutely nuts, which is definitely what I would do too. And then the next picture was like someone in a hazmat suit, and then saying bars versus hairdressers. And it really hit home with me, because I was like, do you know what? That is really unfair.
Yeah, come on, George.
Yeah, now I have to say, your partner can't go into hospital with you to give birth.
So I wondered where you were going with that for a second.
No, but you can't go into hospital to be with your partner.
I totally get where you're going now.
When they're giving birth, but you can be in a bar and you can sit next to a friend, but you can't be in a hairdresser's and you've got to wear a face mask, but you can't actually witness the birth of your child. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Can we just clarify that your partners can go into you?
Yeah.
that sounded so bad. I was like,